We're on the banks of the beautiful Yarra River in Melbourne behind Federation Square, where there's going to be an absolutely massive free concert featuring the John Butler Trio. And John Butler's with me right now. I'm very excited.
G'day, Myf.
Welcome.
Thank you.
How do you feel on the eve of such a huge event like this? A free concert, lots of fans coming from everywhere, obviously a new album to play songs from. How do you feel?
Excited.
Yeah.
There's a lot of anticipation, and I'm really excited that we've been rehearsing for most of the week, and really happy with all the guests on all the songs coming down, and it's just really excited. I'm kind of like wanting to play right now.
What do you hope to achieve through events like this?
It's more of an offering, and a celebration of an album and celebration of how far we've come with the fans. It's just music for music's sake, really, and to be able to put it on and do stuff with Triple J and ABC and JTV and then just offer it for free to the fans. It's just a really celebration of something I'm really proud of, which is Grand National, and to be able to get all together with all the all the extra musicians. It's a celebration.
Awesome. And you are pretty good with your fans as well, because you keep a real communication line open to them in a way, not just through your music, but through making them feel a part of these kind of events.
Yeah.
How important is your fan base to you personally?
Well, it's kind of hard to put it into words. It's absolutely profound, integral, completely essential, and a complete flattering honor, to have such undying support. I mean, without our fans, even from our earliest fans, I would have never been able to afford to leave Western Australia and take the music over to the East Coast and then take it overseas. I mean, that's all from people coming down to our shows and sharing the experience and buying tickets and buying albums, and that kind of support in a day and age where a lot of people are just, struggling to maintain their own lives. It's a real honor that people go out of their way. I mean, there's just no doubt about it. Our fans completely make this happen along with us. It's a joint venture.
Yeah. I want to take a bit of a look at your whole career, if that's okay. How do you feel yourself when you look back at what you've achieved? I know that's a big question.
It's an interesting thing. It feels like it's a bit of a whirlwind to a certain degree, although it's been 10 years since I started busking, almost more, maybe 12 years. When I think about where I was in the fruit and veg part of the Fremantle markets and playing and pissing off all the stallholders around me, the biggest dream was to get a really good trolley and to kind of hitch across the Nullarbor and play it, circular key and sell a few tapes. So it's changed a lot since then, but
Well, that's the thing. Your first release was a tape that you got out to your fans. Exactly. You've obviously still got copies of that.
A couple, around.
Do people like say, "Hey, can you give me one?" Thinking it might be a really good collectible item? Or?
Actually, they just sell them on eBay. There's a few getting around, because I sold about 4,000 throughout the days of busking, and so every once in a while one pops up and goes for $400 or $500 on eBay. So
that's awesome.
It's kind of go, God, I sold this for $10. Wow.
How did you get your start in music? I know that there was a guitar in your family that was handed down from parents or grandparents.
Yeah.
Story behind that.
Well, I started playing guitar when I was 15 or 16, and after about a year of learning, and it obviously looked like I was going to keep on playing, and it was something I was interested in. And on my 16th birthday, my grandmother gave me my grandfather's guitar. He died in 1958 in a bushfire in Nannup, Western Australia, and he left 8 kids behind, the youngest being 7 months, the oldest being 10 years old. And my grandmother said the first kid to learn how to play the guitar would receive this guitar, but none of them learned. So I went down to the grandkids, and I got given this lovely dobro, this beautiful resonator slide guitar, which I didn't really learn how to play until I was about 21.
Yep.
Yeah.
Do you think, though, that instrument influenced how you approached the sort of songwriting that you do? Or was it other outside forces that encouraged you to write songs the way that you do?
It's like the guitar knew what I was going to do before I did, I wasn't interested in blues. In fact, I thought I didn't like it. Or roots music. I didn't think I liked country music. I didn't think I liked any of that music. And I was into Smiths and Morrissey and Jane's Addiction and Bob Marley and Soundgarden and all Tool and all that stuff. And through seeing certain great acts like Jeff Lang and Tony McManus and a few other acts, I started getting into roots music and finger picking and open tuning and all that. And from open tuning, that's when I started busking, and then I kind of realized that all of a sudden this guitar made a lot more sense. It's like, oh, okay. So as I said, it kind of knew my destiny before I did, right? Yeah, I had to grow into the guitar.
What was it like when you first heard your song being played on the radio?
I remember it was Richard was playing Valley for the first time. I think the whole thing, which was about 12 minutes or something, and it was awesome. I remember being there in Fremantle, just going, wow, that's my song on radio. It's awesome. It was very profound, very profound. It's you have to pinch yourself over and over again and go. And those times always happen. Like going #1 just the other day. It's like, wow, this is what it feels like to be #1. It's, on the charts. It's very profound.
You're a very independent artist. You're renowned for it. What made you choose that as a path?
Oh, well, it was essential. It's just the normal thing. From busking, selling your tapes on the streets, and after, your gig on the streets, you live, I got a cassette for $10, and it gradually moves up to an album, and you say after the gig, I got an album here, and you get off stage, and you pack up, and you sell your album, and that's just how it kind of started, and through touring with the Waves, an amazing independent band who really forged a lot of inroads into, musicians having successful independent careers. It was just the way to go about it. There was no other way. Until we went gold, that was the only time that, a record company approached us.
Yeah.
By then it was too late and too obvious, so...
Did you ever toy with that idea, though, to think, well, maybe someone else can take the responsibility for all the stuff that I've sweated over for years in terms of, production, distribution, all that kind of stuff? Did you ever think, God, that would be kind of nice? Or does freedom...
No, at the time, as I said, it was the week we went gold, we got a call from a record company over here, one of the big ones, and to me, it was like a slap in the face. It was like, you knew about us, we've been hammered on Triple J, we've been touring all over the country, we've sold 30,000 albums, and you call the day we go gold, to me, it was just transparent, and it made me just go, made me want to say, fuck off, basically, and I can do it myself, thanks. I'm not a fundamentalist. I'm not a fundamentalist by any means. I'm signed by record companies overseas, but they saw something in the music before they ever saw any money. And that's what I like to work with. I like to work with people who actually believe in the music without this monetary incentive being the main goal.
You give it back in terms of, there's your fans.
Thank you.
You give it back in terms of things like the JVC Seed projects. Yeah. Can you explain that for us and why, I guess, you want to do something like that?
Oh, it was a dream of mine and Danielle's for a long time to be able to give something back when we were in the position to do so. And we've just been on the right end of a lot of grants. We've received a lot of grants to make albums, tour over East, go overseas, and we still do receive grants to do those things. And it was just essential in helping us get to that next level and helping us out. And we just wanted to be able to help artists in some way become self-sufficient, whether it's with a record company or independent. I think most artists, all they really want is to be able to pay the rent and feed themselves and their families through doing their art. And so we just wanted to be able to be part of that because we truly believe that, a rich, diverse, strong culture in music, art, or whatever it may be, makes a more interesting country to live in, and it makes it a more satisfying country to live in. Like when you walk through a place like this and you see the attention to aesthetics, with architecture, and you walk into a restaurant that cares about the food they make, they're not just pumping it out, or musician, it's a satisfying experience, and that's what we want to be part of, even if it's just a small helping step,
This is a huge question, but of all of your achievements, what's been the one thing that makes you most proud that you just go, yep, I did that, that's mine? What's the moment in your life where you are most proud of?
I'm really, and it is a big question, and you have to ask yourself a lot of questions, but
See, I could never answer
I
this.
see my wife every day, and I just think that was the best decision I ever made, was asking her to marry me.
Oh, wow.
Because from there, my children were born, and from there, she's such an integral part of the business and in the music and everything, to have kind of been smart enough to, do the right thing and ask her to marry me and keep my shit together enough not to lose her, that was probably the best decision I think I made.
And just briefly on your kids, though, will you be like one of those parents that'll be sort of shoving musical instruments their way at a very early age?
Well, I already did. I have ukuleles around the house, but all that happens is I end up playing them and writing songs. that's what was Groovin' Slowly. I kind of gave this guitar to banjo, and all I did is play it around the house, and I wrote Groovin' Slowly with it. It's funny.
I just want to know too, when you listen to your old stuff, say in comparison to the latest album, do you enjoy listening to it, and do you feel like you've come a long way, or do you think that's just another part of your life that you're happy to leave behind?
Oh, I enjoy listening to a lot of it. I often listen back to it and I go, oh, that didn't sound half as bad as I thought it did. Because you're so highly critical of an album when it first comes out. I don't really, I think my voice has gotten better, so I don't like listening to my voice, but I love the music and some of the movements that we were going through. So no, I really honor that time. I wouldn't want to say it's any better or any worse. It's just an integral part of the development.
What would you pinpoint as, I guess, the turning point for you in terms of your career when you thought, okay, this is really going somewhere?
Well, there was a couple. One was just the first day I went busking and made $30 an hour.
Awesome.
Because I was going to uni to become an art teacher, so I could just be creative and pay the rent. That was the only thing. I was like, I can't guarantee I can be a great painter, but I can guarantee I could be a good teacher, get my degree, and then I could paint and teach kids. That sounds cool, and I could be creative and pay the rent. But then the day I bust, I made like $30 an hour. It was like the best wage I ever had. I went, I could be creative and make a living like this. And so, yeah, I left uni, and that was a real turning point.
Yep.
And I really committed to working very hard and at the same time making sure that it wasn't all about me.
Yeah.
It had to be about contributing to my community and to the world around me, and in some way being part of a positive change. That was a big part of the decision of becoming a professional musician. And being part of a lot of activist campaigns at the same time as I started, it was like, do I just become a full-time activist or do I just do music? And they both seemed like one was ignoring the art and one was like just too self-indulgent, and so I just kind of fused them together. And when that happened, that's when the horse bolted.
Yeah.
And I've been hanging on ever since.
Was there another turning point for you?
I'd love to answer that question, but I've never seen a bike rider on a unicycle. Come through here, right through here, if you can. Wow. Good on you. Look at that.
That looks super cool.
Wow. I mean, that's not your average bike rider on the Yarra.
No.
Anyways.
I'm a bit frightened for him. He looks like he might go in, is it?
Sorry about that.
That might have been for you. That was a display.
So.
Yes, turning point.
Turning point. Another turning point was, I think, Zebra. I know Zebra. Zebra was a big turning point. So actually, before that, is Pick Apart. When you guys got right behind Pick Apart, that just all of a sudden got this huge fan base all across the country. And then the next big one was Zebra. And between those two things, it just magnified everything.
Yeah.
And it was awesome.
Yeah.
It was great.
In a way, you have become like a spokesperson for social justice and the environment and those kind of things. Are you happy with that role? Or are there times when you kind of think, I'd just like my music to do all the talking and not be called upon, I guess, to represent all the time?
I guess there's a time and a place. Essentially, you want your music to stand on its own 2 feet. It's like any child that one has. You want it to have its own life. And really, all I have to really say, and the most succinct that I do say it, is in my music. Some of the things I've been thinking about for years, and they still come up. They're like these timeless, reoccurring things that happen, and I keep on thinking about them and kind of slowly kind of distilling them. And so really all I really have to say is in my music. But if people want me to be part of something that I really believe in, then as a public, figure of some sort, if I can be like a mirror to point attention at me towards something I think is a lot more important than me, then I kind of feel like it's, once again, it's bigger than me, so then I have to take a bit of responsibility and go, well, maybe I should be a part of something like that, I should, as I said, it's not satisfying enough just to kind of make sure that I'm sending lots of albums and, it's just too much about me. So if I can kind of deflect that energy towards an important cause, I'm happy to do that. And I say no to a lot of things at times, so I know when to say no and just go, hey, I can't be I'm not a public speaker, but at the same time, sometimes you gotta step out of your comfort zone to stand up for what you believe in.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
And I want to talk about this particular gig. what sort of songs do you love to pull out and say something like this? You've got a new album that you obviously want to play songs from, but then you've got a back catalogue that's huge and lots of very dedicated fans who want to hear those songs. How do you choose what to play, and what are your favourite songs to play?
I love playing Funky Tonight a lot. God, there's all kinds of different. I love playing Ocean. I love them all. You know, it's like trying to pick your favourite chart.
And after the gig here, what are your plans for the future? What's going to happen? I know you're travelling to Europe and heading to the US as well. But after that, what are your future plans?
The immediate plans is stealing one of these ferries here and doing some burnouts in the middle of the era, just like what happened 5 minutes ago. And then after that, we're gonna go to the US, do a tour there, and Europe, and then another one, and then we come back here and do the album launch. And basically, you know, it's an old-fashioned thing. You know, we go and we bring the music to the people. We're not playing any pyrotechnics or any scantily clad women coming on stage anytime soon, being on some kind of harnesses. It's just like we're gonna do
that for later when you run out of ideas.
That's right. We're old and pathetic. So really, we're gonna do what we've always done, you know, and that's what you can count on. Just play good music, progress, evolve, and have a ball and connect, and be part of a positive change on this planet.
Well, John Butler, that is awesome, and there's a boat for you to drive, so I think we better end it on that.
That's the one. So if you guys want to come after the gig, I know how to hotwire one of these things. Our high school taught us how to hotwire ferries, and so we're gonna take that out. The Yarra Duchess. See you then.
Well, John Butler, thanks so much. That was fantastic. We look forward to whatever it is that you do next.
Oh, well, thank you very much for all your support. We love you.